Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Surprise, surprise. As always, I'm going to wait a few minutes for people to get up in here so we can get started. It's another beautiful day here in sunny South Carolina, where I love it. Just moved from Seattle, Washington a couple years ago. No, I moved here in summer of 2019. Wow, 19, 20, 2 years already. Wow, that's crazy. We actually drove my truck from Seattle to South Carolina, my 1995 GMC Yukon two-door, Yukon GT. Drove that from Seattle to South Carolina without a problem. 25-year-old car, 25 years old, and drove it 3,000 miles, no problem. What's up, Steven? So when you guys, if you're new to the channel and you hear me say like, oh my God, I can't believe you drove that old car. But when you're in debt, you think that, right? But you don't realize when you're not in debt, anything that goes wrong with the old car, you put a new part on it. You can afford to do that. It's cheaper than financing a $40,000 car. Say, for example, like this. Say like my engine went out on my truck and they said, hey, LJ, it's going to cost you $5,000, $6,000 to replace it. I say, okay, go ahead and replace it, right? I wouldn't go out and oh, the engine's gone on that. Oh, let me go finance a $50,000 brand new car. I just wouldn't do that. That makes absolutely no sense. CENTS. That makes no financial sense at all. But yeah, slaves do it all the time. But that's why I was able to drive down here. Because everything that did go out, now mind you, it's the original engine. I didn't put a new engine and drive the 3000. This is still the original engine. But nothing went wrong. And then when we got here, maybe about a month or two later, the water pump goes out. Right? It's crazy. And a couple other things, but I was just thankful that those things went out here in the city. What's up, Snuggles? What's up, Raining Woman? Anyway, if you're new to the channel, my name is LJ Young. I am the founder of SMD. SMD is not me. SMD is a family. Okay, it's not just me. I founded it, but it's not me. It's a family. And each person in this family represents the family, right? So you can't be, you can't say you're part of the SMD family and then you go off and go do something that's 100% against SD's math way. I guess I don't want to call it SMD. It's just mathematics. If it goes against mathematics, you're like, oh, you're not part of SMD because we don't do that. That makes you look like an idiot, right? Anyway. Welcome. My name is LJ Young, and I'm a 100% debt-free motivational speaker and personal finance educator. I help people become financially free by helping them mathematically see outside what I call the debt matrix. And the debt matrix is a place where the debt matrix is a place where slaves live. Now, there's two kinds of slaves, okay? There's unconscious slaves and conscious slaves. Now, unconscious slaves don't trust math, and they don't know they don't trust math. Okay, that's what makes them unconscious. They don't know they don't trust math, right? And you're probably thinking, what do you mean? Okay, if you believe you're a homeowner with a 30-year mortgage, you obviously don't trust math, because if you just open up your calculator, put in your mortgage payment minus your mortgage balance and hit equal, the calculator will clearly tell you that you're not a homeowner. It's just crystal clear. It's no misunderstanding, right? But if you don't believe the calculator, you are what is called unconscious. Okay. Now, conscious slaves were once unconscious. They found the SMD channel because there is no other channel on YouTube like this channel. Okay, there is no other channel. All right. They found this channel and figured out, oh my God, add up all my savings, add up all my debt. Savings minus debt equals I'm in the negative. That means I have no money. That's right. You have no money. Zero. No matter what everybody around you is telling you this, who are unconscious slaves, they're the one telling you that you can buy stuff with no money. Only unconscious slaves believe that. Now they're conscious. They realize they're a slave. If they're under zero, that means they're a slave, period. Now they're doing whatever it takes to pay off the debt as quickly as possible, selling everything, 80 hours a week overtime, because they realize that as long as they're in the negative, they are indeed slaves. Believe that. Slaves. Now that was me. I was what you the debt matrix people would call a high valued slave, right? But they didn't know I was a slave. They call you high value person. What that means is six-figure earner, college educated, level 4 tier VMware engineer, all that title bullshit that your jobs give you, right? You think it means something, but it doesn't mean anything. But anyway, that was me. And I got to this so-called pinnacle of being a high valued person. And when I got there, I was like, hey, something's missing. Something didn't feel right. As I just couldn't put my finger on it, couldn't ask nobody around me. You know what it was missing? I was in debt. I was a slave. And I was a six-figure, college-educated, highly positioned job, whatever, slave, period. There's nothing more than that, a slave. Found Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey basically said, hey, take the math that we all learned in grade school, elementary school. Yes, elementary. Yes. That's not an insult, okay? I promise you, it's not. Elementary school, apply it to your finances and believe it. So basically, put the number, add up all your savings, add up all your debt on your calculator, hit enter. Now, this is how you're going to leave the debt matrix. You got to believe your calculator. Once you believe your calculator, you're on your way out. But if you choose not to believe your calculator, you will stay there until you're dead. Okay? Now they're getting out. To escape it, that's all you got to do is just believe the calculator. That's it. That's it. That was me, man. Once I did that, that was it. I was out. Didn't even know I was a slave until I got to zero. Ain't that crazy? Even though I knew getting out of debt was the answer, as I'm getting out, I still didn't realize I was a slave as I'm paying off debt. I want you guys to understand it, because I was so focused on the pain of paying off debt, I didn't have time to realize I was a slave, okay? Because it hurts. When I'm paying back all this money to get out of debt, that's all the money I had spent already. I just was feeling the pain of it. Taking my check, handing it straight to them. Taking my check, handing it straight to them. But I knew there was light at the tunnel, because I knew one day it was going to stop. Once it stopped and I got to zero, didn't owe anybody anything. When I got my check, nothing was coming out. I would get paid. Nothing was coming out of my checking account. Nothing. It blew me away. And that's when I realized I was a slave. Now, long story short, slaves, so you guys understand, you guys cannot see negative numbers. That's what it basically means. Okay. You can't see, you guys don't know negative numbers exist. I didn't know that until I got to zero. Once I got to zero, I was like, oh shit, I've been living in negative land all my life. Sure have. So I took what Dave Ramsey showed me. I stripped out the religion, because religion has nothing to do with mathematics. Absolutely nothing. Zero. I stripped out the part where Dave Ramsey says, when you get down to your mortgage, start putting away 15% to retirement. According to the laws of mathematics, you can't put 15% of anything away for anything. You are in debt. You have a mortgage. You have no 15% of nothing. Put in your mortgage payment, open up your calculator, put in your mortgage payment minus your mortgage balance and hit equal. That's how much money you have to put away for retirement. 15% of that large negative number. You understand? That doesn't exist. So I took that out of there. So when you come here, you understand the straight mathematics. If it doesn't make mathematical sense, it cannot make financial sense. CENTS, it can't. Period. That's the rules that SMD. Those are basically the SMD goes by the laws of mathematics when it comes to money. Period. Doesn't matter how you feel about it. Doesn't matter what you hear from your friends. It doesn't matter. Once you get here, you will understand that it's a financial superpower. Now, most of you guys, I titled this video appreciation because I want to share with you something. The majority of you guys listen in the background and say nothing. You just be quiet, which I still appreciate you. Okay, I know you're there. Okay, because this is an energy, man. I'm telling you, I know you're there. And I know you're just amazed when you hear me talk like, oh my God, how does he know this? How come millions of people don't know it? Forget all that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Just understand that I'm right. I appreciate you all because you guys share with me. A lot of the audience that listen to this channel, you guys don't really understand. I don't really talk about what goes on in the background, but more and more, I'm starting to see more and more people telling me that they paid off their student loans. They're down to this. Thank you for existing, LJ. I appreciate you, man. And the majority of you guys that do that, you all say the same thing. Oh, man, I'm just silent in the background. That's cool, man. That's cool. That's really cool. I appreciate you. But you know what? When you come around to it and when you're comfortable, man, I really want you guys on the channel telling people that come to this channel your story, your journey, what you're feeling, what changes at work when you're debt free, because people in the unconscious slaves, they don't know why they work at places they hate. They don't know why they do that. They don't know why they look at the clock at 3 o'clock, can't wait to get off at 5 o'clock, and they're dreading the last 2 hours. They don't know why the clock owns them. They don't understand that. These people need to know what has changed for you at work. How you view your bosses, how you view your time, how you don't let employers get away with stealing your time for free, working off the clock. They know. See, what unconscious slaves don't know, when they do that shit. Let me tell you guys something that have jobs. Okay, if you have a job that expects you to work off the clock, and when I say work off the clock, I'm talking about you clock out and then you continue working, or you start answering emails after hours or text messages, or you must get some phone calls or whatever, right? You understand they're not paying you for that time. You guys must understand that they're not. When you do that, you're doing it for free. And if they could do that, they're paying you for 40 hours while they're owning 24 hours of your life every single day. Do you understand? That's true. Those guys need to understand that that you guys are out there debt free and you're in this environment now, how you guys don't let them do that. Because they're not going to really believe what I'm saying unless you're doing it. What's up, Dorian? Fred? I appreciate you. What's up? Love your videos, especially the ones with you and your Ramil. I appreciate. Yeah, me and Ramil, man, we got a good when we do videos, man, we got a really good energy, man. We just vibe, man. It just flows. When I do those with Ramil, it just flows. None of that is rehearsed, you guys. We just be flowing. And one thing I love about it, one thing I like about that is like a 20-year difference between Ramil and I, right? I love it. I want people to see that his age and my age has nothing to do with mathematics. Math is not an age. Okay, period. They need to hear you guys' stories, man. So when you guys work up the courage to do this, man, you know how I tell you guys this is a superpower, right? When you guys are doing this, you guys realize it really is. You guys know LJ is not joking. It is a financial superpower. Millions don't know what S&D knows. Millions of people don't know. Something so simple. It's none of, what's so crazy about becoming wealthy? It's not a secret. Calling it a secret is the secret, because it's not a secret. See what I'm saying? It's everything. When you guys get out of the debt matrix, I want you guys to understand one thing, okay? The wealthy are not holding you back. They're not hoarding all the money. They're not hiding anything from you. They're not. Those are all unconscious slave witch stories. You know why they're wealthy? because they go by the laws of mathematics when it comes to money. Nothing, only the debt matrix exists outside the laws of mathematics. Okay, that's the debt matrix. I'm gonna try to my best to describe the debt matrix to you. Everything that exists outside the laws of mathematics is the debt matrix. That's where the banks and financial institutions spends most of their time, in the debt matrix with you, slaves, with you. They're not doing anything to you. You are the only one that don't trust the laws of mathematics when it comes to money. That's your problem. That's your fault. If you believe you got a car on sale after financing it for 84 months, that breaks all the laws of mathematics. According to who? You? That's why you're there. You gave me so much, an even better understanding about paying off debt. That way I don't have to be a slave. Sure don't. Slaves don't know. Hey, unconscious slaves, do you guys know freedom is an asset? That's an asset. You guys don't even know freedom is an asset. It is. It's an asset. Yes, it is. Many of you will never have it, never attain it, ever. I have. Sure have. Right here in my hand. And once you get in your hand and you realize the whole key to financial success is that you must own, you want to go out there and play in the finance game. You know what the first step is to do? You must own yourself, slave. You can't get in the finance game being owned. Somebody already owns you. You must first own yourself, slave. Sorry. Do you understand? That's step one. Now, think about it this way, slave, so you guys can understand. About 97% of you guys in the United States are in debt. That means you're a slave. You're all slaves. You have no idea that you are. It doesn't matter if you do or you don't. The laws of mathematics don't care how you feel, slave. So you take that 97%. How many of you guys are investing in the stock market? How many you think? What you think? I don't know. Slaves investing in the stock market. The stock market is comprised of you, slaves. The stock market couldn't exist without you. No different than cryptocurrency. It's all the fucking same. It's all the same. You are the only ones that don't know that. And you're probably thinking, hey, LJ, how come you can say this out loud? Because they can't fucking hear me. Slaves can't hear me. They have no idea what I'm saying. Zero, none. That's what makes it a superpower. I can say the shit out loud and they can't hear a word I'm saying. It's a superpower, man. What's up, Robert? I remember you give an example of slaves who need to work a job and people who want to work a job. Huge difference. Huge difference. I'm gonna tell you. Okay, let me tell you this. Okay, and I couldn't figure this out at first, but now I have the explanation. Okay, I uh I got out of debt back in like 2015 or something like that, but I didn't quit my job until 2016 because that's a huge step. To quit a six-figure paying job with no direction, nowhere where what I'm going to do after that, nothing. Not many people will take that step. Not millions. I knew I separated myself from that. But anyway, I was debt free for a year. My whole outlook on work totally changed. Totally changed. Man, I was noticing all the things they would just take. I was giving away. I'm not even gonna say that job stole my time. I allowed that shit. I allowed them to call me after hours, expect me to answer emails all fucking night, text messages. Anytime they call, I had to answer. That's all for free because you got to think about it. If you have to do that, that means they own 24 hours of your life, not 40 hours a week. They're paying you for 40 hours a week, but they're owning every single hour of your they own every single hour They own every single hour of your week, but they're paying you for 40 hours of it. Do you understand? I'm gonna say that one more time. If they expect you to do things after hours, pay for your phone bill, call you anytime they want, they own every single hour of your week, including weekends, and they're paying you for 40 hours a week. What kind of deal is that? That's an awesome deal. You understand? I ain't allow that shit no more. I was like, whoa. Now, the only reason why I was able to identify that because I was not in debt. I didn't need that job anymore. That's the only reason why I saw it, or else I wouldn't have saw it. I was like, wait a minute, oh, because I'm gonna tell you this. This is what I remember because I was an IT engineer. I'm gonna tell you this, and most of you IT engineers will understand this feeling. I remember I used to get calls in the middle of the night when I was not on call. Okay. You IT people know what I'm talking about. I used to get calls in the middle of the night when I was not on call. And when I used to get up during those calls at night, something inside of me said, man, this is wrong. This is not right. Wait a minute. You're not on call. Why are they calling? But you know what I did? I did it anyway. Why? Because I needed the job. So I allowed it. Once I got out of debt, I was like, whoa, I'm not even answering that phone. Why in the hell did I merge their phone with my phone? Why did I put work software phone stuff on my phone? I would have had two separate phones because listen, if I'm not on call, that phone stays in the desk. There is absolutely no that laptop and the phone stays at the desk because there's no reason to bring it with me. Why? Because they're not paying me for it. I didn't allow none of that. They would be like, "Hey man, we called you last night. How come you didn't pick up the phone?" I said, "I was asleep." What do you mean why I didn't pick up the phone? What are you talking about? It's almost an insulting question. What do you think I was doing when you called me at 2 o'clock in the morning when I was not on call? I was asleep. I stopped all that. All that stopped. Then I started adding up the hours they were getting for free. I was like, "Hold." They're getting like they're paying me 160 a year, right? They're getting quadruple that off my ass. I was like, oh no. Sorry, I got to drink something. I said, oh no, all that stops. I know you guys out there that are debt free right now and have jobs. they they have to know that because they got to understand. Unconscious slaves got to understand something. Okay, this is what you guys got to understand. Stress comes from debt. That's why you're stressed, because you're in debt. Stress is a vibration. Stress is something that you can feel. Everybody, you can look at a person and say, damn, that motherfucker stressed. And he didn't say a word to you. You got to understand. How do you know that? Because you feel a vibration. You see it. Oh my God. Yeah, you can just see it. You can actually feel somebody's stress, right? Now, unconscious slaves, since debt is stress, unconscious slaves carry this vibration around with them every day. And you guys think that shit is normal. That shit ain't normal. That is not normal. Stress is not normal. That's a lie. When you're debt free and you're in the work environment, and I didn't know this back then, right? But when you're in the work environment, I had no stress. So people knew I was different. I was like, why are people just, man, why are they looking at me so funny? Why are they talking? It just was weird to me. I was like, damn, what's going on? Can they see something on me? No, I didn't have that stress vibration. I didn't care about manager meetings. Oh man, they got a meeting coming up. They're going to tell us about this and that. I was like, shit, I don't care. Whatever. Man, what if they cut this or do that? I said, I don't care. First of all, I placed myself in a position to where I'm not going to say they couldn't cut me, but they had to think twice about doing it because I ingrained myself and made myself important for the company, made the company money, blah, blah, blah. I was the best I could be, even though I would ask tripled my salary. But you know what? I made myself important. But even when cuts came or they were talking about a reorg or all this shit, I did not care what they did. Whatever. Oh, LJ, you ain't worried? Nope. Mm-mm. What's up, Bacon? Tune into this behind, so no drinking today. What I miss? Let's see. Dorian says, they can't believe. Here, let me put this up. If you guys have some questions of me, because it's nothing, nothing topic. Like I said, it was just a appreciation topic, man. Because it makes me, when I get emails from people, those confirm that I'm on the right path. It just confirms it, because people don't normally come up to another person and say, hey man, you changed my life. I don't know how many times you guys have ever heard that in your life, but people don't say that to people by accident. I want you guys to know I appreciate even the ones that don't tell me, even you guys that don't tell me your life has changed, maybe. And I'm not saying you have to. I'm just saying I know you're there. You know that once you know this, especially if you got young children, oh man, if you know you got young children, you know for a fact you're going to teach them this, that there is no ifs, ands, or buts. That is happening. They're going to know. When those kids grow up and they get out in the real world, they'll be like, what? People finance cars? They're going to be like, wait a minute. You do know a car goes down in value, right? And people finance those? Yeah. People at an interest rate sure do, for 84 months, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. Sure, they sure do. And they think that's normal? Yeah, they think it's normal. That's the way it is. They're going to think it's weird. But if they go into any type of financial field, they're going to dominate. Do you understand? If you're an accountant, some kind of tax person, anything to do with the system, and you're debt free, you will dominate the field that you're in. If the majority of the people in your field are in debt, you're going to dominate that field. Especially if you're in the tax game, if you're in the IRS, or you do taxes for a living, get out of debt and you will dominate that field. Dominate it. They won't even know how you're doing it. They will have not a clue. Now I'm not talking about the IRS. Of course they know. I'm talking about the people around you that are in debt, thinking they understand how the tax system works. They don't know how it works. I promise you, if they're in debt, if they have student loans older than their tax business, I promise you they don't know. They're missing a ginormous piece. What's up, Gabriel? Dorian says, I remember you saying 160 years, nothing if you're still a slave. It's absolutely nothing, Dorian. 160 years. You got to remember this. When somebody's making $160,000 and they're in debt, they're in a high tax bracket. And when you're in debt and you make that much per year, you can't do anything about it. You cannot bring yourself down because you're in debt. You can't even, you know how they say, I remember hearing this all the time. The more you make, the more they take. Well, yeah, that's true. That is true. But there's ways to prevent that legally. Everything here, I'm telling you, legally only. Because there's absolutely, I want to reiterate this, there's absolutely no reason to cheat the system, the taxes, and pretend this and pretend stuff is there and hide money there. Don't do any of that. Because this is what you got to, when you think about stuff like that, and when you hear people doing that, this is what I want you to understand something, okay? They clearly state that if you do tax evasion, you can go to prison. So what that means is this, because you got to really hear yourself. That means they are going to take away the time in your life. They're going to take it from you. Something that you can never get back. Now, whether you know this or not, time is the most valuable thing on earth. Why? Because one day you're going to be dead. Now you got to think to yourself, why am I risking the time of my life? What are you doing it for? Money. The only reason why you want to cheat the tax system is because you want to keep money. You want more money for you, or keep it, or whatever. You got to understand it. If you're willing to risk the time of your life for paper that doesn't exist, because listen, Only unconscious slaves risk the time in their life for money, for paper money. It ain't even worth shit. It ain't worth nothing. That doesn't even matter. These are the rules. Doesn't matter if you like them or not. All you got to do is understand them. Once you get out of debt and understand them, you're like, oh shit, that's why that's there. Yeah, because if they didn't force slaves to play, they wouldn't play. You think slaves will pay taxes on their own voluntarily? No. So you take the time. Oh, that's why. Yeah, that's why you don't do that, because it's a very important piece of the puzzle. It's the backbone of the whole system. That's why you can go to prison. That's why you can lose the time in your life. All you got to do is get out of debt and you be like, oh, there's no reason to cheat it. Nope. You don't have to do none of that. Nope. You don't have to cheat, hide, nothing. You don't have to do none of that. All you got to do, this is what I want you guys to understand. All you got to do is find a tax person who is debt free. I don't care if you think it's weird or whatever. I don't care. It doesn't matter. You go up to that person and say, hey, man, are you debt free? Somebody, this guy at SMD, this is what I want you to say to him too, because they don't have many people telling them this. All right. They're going to know that it's going to come from somebody they know that knows. Okay. You say, hey, man, are you debt free? Somebody, this guy at SMD, he told me, he said, ask you if you're debt free because you're going to know something that millions of other people don't know. And he or she's going to be kind of shocked because they're never going to ever had heard that before, ever. And then you're going to go with that person. He said, you're not going to be trying to pretend the IRS and pretend you got stuff and it's not really there and you're hiding money here. He said, you're not going to do any of that. They're going to say, yep, you're right. None of that because it's not needed. He said, he's going to say, you tell him because he said it's not needed. He's going to say, yep. He or she's going to say, yep, he's right. You don't need to do none of that. Only off work thing. I did that last night. Communication with a paying customer because she couldn't find the order I dropped off. Turns out she had the wrong address. Most definitely. What's up, E-Man? Ooh, disgusting. Oh man, that's funny. Absolutely, you're dead. You're dead way longer than you're alive. Yep. And when you get out of the debt trap, you can finally get out and smell it. You sure can. Your whole life changes. Your whole life changes. And I got these shirts coming out here. We're working on the first design right now, and it's almost done. And then I'll know how I'm gonna do this and get the shirts. And this is all new to me. So okay, so the first beginning of the process is kind of slow, but the main thing I had to think of what was going to go on the shirts. Okay, now these shirts. Now I want you guys to hear me. Okay, so you guys can understand what's about to happen before it happens, and so you guys understand. I want you guys to hear me saying it before it happens, because once you're out of the debt matrix and you own yourself, you can see a lot of things very easily, very easily. Okay, these shirts are going to be, the statements on these shirts are going to be unlike you've ever seen anywhere in the world. Millions are not even going to understand the statement. So whoever buys these shirts, you got to be prepared to answer the questions that are going to be asked of you, because they're going to be millions of slaves asking those questions because they don't know they're not going to understand what these statements mean. Now, the first shirts that's coming out, the statement is as follows. Okay. If it doesn't make mathematical sense, it cannot make financial sense. CENTS. Okay. If it doesn't make mathematical sense, it cannot make financial sense. CENTS. Now, unconscious slaves don't know what that means. They don't understand what that means. So they're going to ask the questions. And then and when you guys do this, when you guys wear these shirts, man, I want you to make sure you tell them to open up the calculator app on their phone. You have to make the unconscious slaves Punch these numbers in a calculator. They have to see it with their own eyes. Because each time we have a person do that, we want them walking away thinking, like, damn, how'd he do that? Was it a magic trick? I don't know. Whatever comes in their mind, they're going to think it's some kind of trick, and it's just math. Okay, that's it. There are still prison camps I've called having jobs for. Yeah, I mean, I would get banned from parties. So you guys motivate me. You guys, the silent ones in the background, and email me and and DM me on IG. I appreciate you, man, and I appreciate you sharing me your goal. Like I had one person just the other day said, he just paid off $36,000 in student loan debt, and he said now he's free. When they say words like that, I know they did it because that's the only way you're going to know what that feeling is. If you have 30,000, I had 30, $40,000, something like that in student loan debt. I had to pay off every single penny of it. There is no other way. There is no other way to pay off student loan debt. There is no other way. You have to pay it off. No matter what anybody in the debt matrix tells you, no matter what anybody in the debt matrix tells you, the only way to pay off your student loan debt, you have to pay it off. Period. Mm. Now, don't get me wrong. My student loan debt was the last on my payoff list because it was the biggest. To see that much money go go to them, check after check after check after check after check, to see that much money go there, that was tough, man. I ain't even gonna front. That was tough, man. But I knew there was no other way. I knew it. It was no other way. I had to do it. I kept my student loans for 10 years, man. Went to college for 4 years, kept my student loans for 10. That makes absolutely no sense at all. CENTS. Sure did. Been in the six-figure range for shit well over 10, 15 years and have my student loans for 10. That makes absolutely no sense. Feeling the pain of paying that student loan debt off is part of the process. That's part of you got to feel it. Can I get some of these shirts with a credit card? I'm just asking for. Oh yeah, I'm accepting. Hey, I'm accepting credit cards. Don't. I want you guys to understand something too. Please understand. Credit is a tool. I use credit. I have a credit card. Credit is a tool, not a need. I don't want you guys to think I just because Dave Ramsey told me, hey man, don't you? Hey, I use credit. Okay, I have a credit card. I use it for more of like protection and just uh, I don't I can shop everywhere. I don't have to worry about that shit. When you put in your debit card, it's a whole big problem when somebody steals your debit card. That's a different type of problem. When they steal your credit card information, you were on and off the phone about 10 minutes and take care of credited back this to get this money back, and all right, we'll go after them, whatever. But the debit card, man. So hey, I use credit. Many are paying a mortgage and student loan. Sure is. I know, right? Yeah, that is true, man. If you gotta, oh man, these are the ones I feel sorry for. Let me tell you this, and I ain't gonna lie, man. And there's a whole bunch of you, right? If you make like 40,000 a year and you owe 100 plus in student loan debt, not saying that you can't do it, but in order to do it, you would have to make some serious sacrifices, and that's only if you're by yourself. If you're making 40,000 and you got like 3, 4 kids and car payments and oh man, and you got 100 plus in student loan debt, whew, mm, 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 mm. They can fathom, they can fathom 60,000 in the bank and having 60K in the student loan. Yep, then start from zero, but having no debt, you got to go. You got to okay with paying debts more. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. Student loan debt, man. I don't know what it was that pushed me back in 2000. I don't know what popped into me to pay off debt, man. But I thank God every day, man. I did that because I thought having student loan debt was normal, man. I thought that was I just thought everybody had student loan debt. No, everybody in my life had student loan debt. The people that were around me that think mortgages and having student loans older than your mortgage is normal. They think all that's normal, man. That's not normal. Only slaves do shit like that. Like you don't slaves don't really understand. This is what you're telling the banks when you have student loans that are older than your mortgage. You're telling the bank, "Hey, I don't plan on ever paying back my student loan." Right? When put it this way, if you're coming to get a mortgage and you got with student loans older than your children, you know what you're telling the bank? You're telling the bank, "Hey, man, I don't ever plan on paying off my student loans." So the bank understands that okay, if you're never gonna pay off your student loans, guess what else you're never gonna pay off? This house. You guys don't know that you don't know that you're telling them this. That's your problem. It's not the bank's business to say, hey, you know what, you probably shouldn't be getting this house because you got student loans and you really don't have any money, because if you have student loans you really ain't got no money, and the only way to buy a house is with money. But they're not going to tell you that. Man, you just don't, man. And you young people listening to this, man, hey, I'm giving you some generation changing advice right now. If everybody around you has student loan debt, finance cell phones, car payments, and jobs they hate, those are unconscious slaves. You better not take any financial advice from them, because they think the way to success is the way they think and the American dream. Well, they're asleep. If they don't trust the calculator, they're asleep. Doesn't matter how they feel about it. You just better not follow them. Credit is a tool, it's not a need. Credit is a lawnmower. Credit is a weed eater. Credit is new tires. You get it? They're just tools. Nothing. You use it and then you put it away. You don't depend on it. So if you're a person walking around talking about, oh man, we keep credit cards for emergencies, how come you don't have your own money for emergencies? If you're saying that, you're a slave. I'm a free man. I own my house and own my car, truck loans, debt free man. I feel like I own the world. Exactly. That's exactly how it feels. That's exactly how it feels. Like you own the world. What and your world is you. Okay. So when you say the world, not every owning the world doesn't mean when you hear somebody say, man, I own the world, and you got to think to yourself, well, can he really own the world? No, he's got to be talking about himself. Okay, because nobody can own the world. Okay, your world, once you own you, that's it. That's your world. And I promise you, once you own your world, everything outside that changes too. I promise you. So LJ, what do you think is going to happen after June for rent? Okay, this is what I think. Okay, now this is my prediction about what's going to be happening to these renters. This is just my opinion. Okay, this is how I look at it. If all of those renters get kicked out at once, that stuff like that. Okay, you guys got to understand, stuff like that can't happen. Okay, because if every renter that hasn't been paying rent got kicked out in the street at once, they will start looking at each other and wake up. Because it won't, because if that happened, listen, you guys got to look at the bigger picture. It's going to happen everywhere. It's going to happen in the poor neighborhoods. It's going to happen in the middle class neighborhoods. It's going to even happen in the rich neighborhoods. Now, if the poor people see people up in the rich area getting kicked out, their furniture out on the sidewalk too, they're gonna be like, "Hey, what the fuck is going on? What do you mean? Don't you guys live in Beverly Hills? Yeah. Then what are you doing getting kicked out? You're rich, right? To me, in my opinion, that can't happen. Something's gonna come out of somewhere. Okay, that just like that recent 40-year extension for the mortgages. That shit's brilliant, right? That proposal by Biden. Okay, something's got to happen for the renters. If the broke people getting kicked out, because if the people with no money in the poor areas and stuff like that, when they see something like that on the news, they're going to be like, oh, people are going to be like, oh, we expected it. They're poor, they have no money. But when the poor people see the people in the rich areas on the same out on the street with the furniture and everything, they're going to be like, what? What do you mean? I thought those were rich people up there. And then they're going to find out that has nothing to do with anything. That can't happen. In my opinion, that can't happen. That cannot happen. We can't have slaves. Hey, we can't have slaves waking up. That can't happen. I'm not against the system, you guys. I want you guys to clearly understand something. The system is just there. The system favors those who go by the laws of mathematics. That's it. If you don't go by the laws of mathematics, it's against you. If you do, it's for you. That's it. That's it. So, in my opinion, again, when this renter's coming up, because for the life of me, I didn't know how this housing crash was going to be prevented. At first, I didn't know. I was like, but all I had to do was take a step back for a minute and say, okay, Linnell, can that happen? Can everybody that has mortgages that's not paying, can they get all kicked out at once? No, that can't happen. That cannot happen. Everybody loses. Like, think about it this way, you guys. If every renter got kicked out of the place that they couldn't pay rent, right? If everybody got kicked out, everybody loses. Now they ain't got nobody. Now there's nobody in their places to rent. So the people they're not getting rent, and now they're gonna really not get rent because they got nobody in it. That can't happen. In my opinion, that can't happen. That cannot happen. So something else is. I predict this. Something else is going to come out in the form of something that's going to say, "Hey, you can't do this, or you can do that," and whatever. I don't know what they're going to do. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Much appreciated. Without the system, we return to. We sure do. Exactly. I don't want that. Oh no, man. I'm looking at that new Tesla Plaid, man. I can't. Oh no. I'm so far from that Tesla Plaid. Would I want one? Hell yeah, I want one. But anyway, uh, yeah, that would send us back. I don't want slaves waking up. SMD is really here. It's like for people like me. I was wandering around the debt matrix. I knew something was wrong, but I didn't know. I didn't know. I knew something was wrong though. And I remember that. I remember I used to come home into my nice high-rise apartment in my underground garage parking blockety bullshit. And then I'll go up the elevator to my fancy high-rise apartment because I was making six figures and I had to show the world I was making six figures, right? That's how you got to do it. You got to pretend. Okay. And then I remember going in there, open up the door because my kitchen was the first thing that you walk in there. I would set my keys on the counter and I would close the door behind me and I would just look at my apartment, right? And I'd be like, man, something is missing. I said to this to myself, I said, I'm supposed to be happy right now. Look at my furniture, look at my walls, look at my car, look at my bedroom, look at my washer and dryer, look at everything. I'm supposed to be feeling a certain way, but I wasn't feeling that way because none of the shit was mine. Not even the car in the garage was mine. I was making car payments. This apartment, this fancy high rise apartment wasn't mine. I was renting it. Oh, yeah, cool. I had multiple credit cards with high limits. So what? It's not my money. Who cares what the limits are? Everything was wrong, man. I'm just telling you guys right now, those of you that are feeling this, that's what you're feeling. You're in debt. You don't own anything. LJ, they can't keep pushing it more though. That's crazy. They can't. I don't know. That, like I said, with the rent thing, I'm just telling you, man, things like, you got to think about it. Things like, there's certain things that just cannot happen. That many people cannot be kicked out on the street. That cannot happen. Everybody loses if that happens. So no, something's gonna happen. Some proposal, something. Mark my words, something's gonna come out of something because it cannot happen. Everybody loses. Everybody loses, and everybody cannot lose. Without slaves, the wealthy don't make money. We need slaves. Slaves are volunteer. You guys, this is what's so lovely about this system, you guys. It's volunteer. You choose the side of it that you want to be on. It's totally up to you. That's what's so brilliant about it. It's your choice. You choose to, either you choose the laws of mathematics or you don't. That's it. That's what's going to make these SMD shirts so unbelievable. You guys don't even understand what these shirts are going to do for SMD, man. You guys don't even get it. I see it. When you see people, like when you hear stars talking about, man, I envisioned this, I saw this. It's true, man. It's true. It's true. You guys don't even understand. You guys don't even understand what these shirts are going to be doing, man. You guys don't even get it. Mm, mm. I remember you saying, if you know what you know, now you would have been able to, generate millions in your 20s and 30s. Yeah, that's true. Once you know this, you don't really think about money like that no more. You don't think about, man, I'm gonna get me 1 million, I'm gonna get me 2 million. You don't really think like that no more because uh, when you own yourself first, right? Then all of a sudden, whatever it is that you're supposed to be is your passion in life, whatever, it's gonna come to light. And then once you find your passion, the money comes to that. No, the money comes because of that, right? So that's the same thing with this. When I before I even started this SMD, everybody's like, "Hey, man, how you gonna make money from that? People don't believe that." I said, "I don't care what people believe. All I know is the truth. If people don't like the truth, that gave me even more fire. You don't believe math? What, really? Okay, then I'm on the right path." And I'm like, "Wait a minute, millions don't believe this." Yeah, millions of people don't believe this. Then that's why I knew this was my passion, and money comes for it. Money comes with it. That's it. Now, I've been thinking about something too. I think about how when you're in debt, man, you look at stars and you look at their lives. That's why they give you like reality TV. Reality TV make you look like, hey, look at this person. Look how they live. They're always shopping at the fancy stores, and they got the rich everything, and they're driving the Porsches and this and that. You get caught up in that, and you think that's what it is. That's what it looks like, and it doesn't look like that at all. What did you say, under moratorium? ends equal people. Riot equal more government spending, equal more debt, equal more profits for the debt free. Yeah. Mm. If they did let that happen, that is exactly what will happen. There will be rioting. You better believe that. That can't happen, man. That just can't. That's bad news. Equal more government spending, equal more debt, equal more. Mm. Hmm. I hope not. That'd be bad. That'd be bad news. Yeah, that would be bad. Yeah, that'd be bad news. Very bad news. I hope that doesn't happen. I really don't. If who cares about the limits on credit cards? My cousin was so happy when he spent all the money in the credit card and it's not his money. He was in a big debt. Yeah, that's true. Way. That's why credit card companies always are at college campuses trying to persuade. Yeah, that's. I mean, it's just honestly, it's just business. If you if you're a young person with young children right now and you teach them this, and when they go off to college, they won't care about credit card companies offering them credit card because they will have already been taught that they don't need any of that. They'll have first of all, by the time they're that age, they'll have their own money anyway. So they'll be like, why would I even need that? You don't. I'm literally just waiting. It's about to happen in June 3rd. It might make the George Floyd protest look like June. Okay, wait a minute. It ends. Oh, it's over June 30th. What is this? What's the date today? And it's the 17th. Hmm. They give you $1 and you pay 5 in taxes and inflation. Create a state of desperation. Then next. Oh man. Hmm. 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 Let's just say I hope that doesn't happen because if it happens, that's exactly what's going to happen. You got people desperate, no place to live with kids. Oh man. You guys don't understand morals and shit that go out the window. Believe that. Morals go out the window. That can't happen. I hope it don't happen. I really hope a proposal comes just like Biden did with this one. I hope he does with something. And I can't think of what they would do because the mortgage one is easy. You could just wrap it up in a 40-year, extend the renters or extend the mortgage off 40 years. Okay, slaves are going to take that hook, line, and sinker. The majority of them are going to take that deal. But I have no idea what type of proposal, something that they could do for renters, because that would just have to be, I mean, because the money couldn't go to the renter. It has to go to the business or the landlords. It would have to go straight to them. So I don't know. Oh man, when is that over? When is unemployment over? When is that? Remember, they need to create 100 trillion in debt. Oh my God. Mm. That's gonna cost. I mean, I hope not. I just hope not. Just because it's a bad thing, if it happens, doesn't mean it won't work. Yep, you're right. When people are desperate, they'll do things. Things change, man. When this is what. Okay, I know a lot of you unconscious slaves believe what you're seeing on social media. All right, it looks like there are people just living life. They look like they're not having any problems through these desperate times. But you're looking at them and probably thinking, then why I am? Because they're lying. The majority of the people that you see, they're living off of credit. They probably refinanced their house, probably took out PPP loans. Whatever they're doing, it's an illusion. There are many people right now that are very desperate, very desperate. Believe that. I know people look like people buying brand new cars and all this other stuff. It's all an illusion. Don't fall for it. Don't believe any of it. Don't believe any of it. Don't fall for it. People are desperate right now. And 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 if this rent thing goes through on the 30th, if nothing comes in to swoop in and say, "Hey, we're going to do this," that's going to be a big problem, man. It's going to be a very big problem. That problem for everybody. Problem for everybody, because it's going to be a lot of desperate people. You ain't got no place to live. That means you probably ain't got you ain't got no money for food. What's going to happen? Crime's going to go up, man. Crime. People got to eat. Hey, you hungry? You gonna think about going to jail anymore? That goes out the window right there, right out the window. And you got kids on top of that talking about they hungry too. Yeah, that shit goes out the window. You young people that haven't started life yet, I hope you're listening to me right now. If you don't ever want to go through that shit that's happening right now, or what's going to happen in your lifetime, because it's gonna happen. It's just the way it's supposed to happen. It doesn't have to happen to you. All you gotta do is just stay out of debt. You won't worry about any of that. Who cares? Economy crashes, rises, falls, does like a freaking tidal wave. You won't care. You won't care. It won't matter. You'll be riding it. You'll be making the money. No matter what the wave does, you'll be making money. Because the waves are slaves. They don't know they're the waves. They have no idea that they are the waves. This will be you. You'll just watch them. You see what they do. They just do what they do. And then when things like this happen, you won't care. Ended there for on the 12th. They will come in, but after the country is in crisis state. A mortgage ties you to your job and location. Sure does. Sure does. So when June 30th comes, right? Are they saying that is when the eviction process starts? Or are they saying they can actually kick people out starting, I mean, the next day, since the June 30th, July 1st or whatever, right? Is that what they're saying? That they can come in with the sheriff and say, clear all their shit out? Is that what that is? You better believe it. That's going to be on the shirt right there. You better believe that. That's going to be one of my statements on the shirt. You think slaves are going to understand that? Hell no, they're going to say, what? What's the difference between renters and people with mortgages? Renters know they're renting. They're going to look at you like, what? Alabama, Idaho, Nebraska, almost discontinuing the extra. Ooh, money is coming to an halt. Right now, it's like this is how there's, how you go to have you noticed you've gone to all the businesses and everybody's hiring? They're hiring because these people have been getting all this extra money and a place to live, paying no rent. You got to understand this. Unconscious slaves have become comfortable with not paying any rent. So without paying rent, guess what they believe? They believe they have extra money now. This is how unconscious slaves think. Oh, I'm not paying rent. That means I have extra money. I don't have to pay this $1,200, $500, $800, whatever it is. They think they have an extra $800 at the end of the month. No, they don't. No, they don't. They be spending that money, putting it right back into the economy, saving nothing. Someone said, I know said to me, waiting for my credit to go up so I can buy a house this year. Oh, someone I know said to me, okay, gotcha. No, they can start kicking people out. Okay, usually a legal process 30, 60 days. Mm. Mm. I don't know, man. I mean, that shit's right around the corner too. And I haven't heard anything on the news. I got to start. You know what? This is what I'm going to start doing. I'm going to start paying really close attention what the president's going to be saying between now and the 30th. I say like this: focus in on what what President Biden has to say about this situation. That's what. Forget about all the other stuff. Just focus in on that. I know. I remember you saying that. Oh man. Yeah, everyone hiring right now. This is slaves don't really understand is that they what's crazy is that they knew the money was going to be coming to an end. This is the weird thing about slaves. They know the date is coming to the end. So they should about a month or two before now, all these places are hiring, right? This now is the time to get a job because when that money stops, there's not going to be any jobs available for you guys. You guys understand that? If you want a job, you better get it now. Because once the money stops, all the jobs are going to be taken. Sure can't. That's true. Can't put people out in the can put them out in the winter. Sure can't. Everything's planned. Everything. Exactly. Jobs are desperate right now. Mm. Oh, it sure has. And lack of labor. But pretty soon, man, right now, that's what basically they're telling you. If they're paying you to work here, that means they're desperate. But it won't be that way for a long time. This is just a temporary thing. This is temporary because once the money stops, every job that you know of right now is available. It's going to be gone. It's going to be gone. Well, you know what? That's big, and I'm assuming, and this is just my assumption. I just assume that Biden wouldn't want that to happen on his watch. That's all. It's like, nah, he did the proposal for the mortgage extensions that pretty much saved the housing market crash. Slaves don't even know it. They don't know it, but that pretty much prevented that from happening. Right now, this rent thing again, I don't know. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to scramble my brain. Okay. All right. Okay. I see what they did with the 40-year extensions. Okay. That was cool. I like that. Okay. Wrap all the fees and fines and all the other stuff for the whole year they wasn't paying, wrapping in at the end, stretched across 40, get all your money plus some. Okay. Cool. Cool. All right. Banks loving that shit. Cool. But the rent, the people don't own the properties. Okay. I'm trying to take it back. Okay. So it really has nothing to do with the renters because they own nothing. So the landlords and the property owners are the ones out of money. Hmm. I'm assuming, give the owners and the property owners some kind of incentive for keeping them in the place. I see giving the owners something, tax break, maybe you won't have to pay taxes for the next 5-10 years. I mean, it's money. Trust me. If they gave them tax breaks over the next 5-10 years, that's the same as cash. All right, that's the same as cash. That's what I see. Hey, if you do this, we'll give you the biggest tax break you've ever seen in your life. and it will never happen again. Something remarkable. That'll be another way to prevent renters from getting kicked out without spending a ton of money. Just like they did with the 40-year extension. They prevented the housing market crash without spending a dime, giving a ginormous tax break to people that own properties because of rent loss or whatever. That's the same as cash. So that's my prediction. Yeah, that's true. Dorian says that, and you have to take into account the 11 million immigrants making their way over here. Those jobs will be gone in no time. You won't be able to even get a job. Yeah, the most jobs that, you know what, this is, and this is another one of my predictions. Okay, this is another one of my predictions. The jobs that are going to be available are delivery jobs and jobs like Amazon. Because you guys don't understand. You see the Amazon facilities around, they take up blocks and blocks and blocks and blocks. It's all, let me give you an example. Okay, I'm from Seattle, Washington. Okay, and in Kent, Washington, there's a ginormous Amazon factory. Okay, now I remember this specifically, and this is when I was working. I used to take this particular way to work all the time, every day. I remember this particular area was just a big, huge field. It wasn't really Kent's not really a big populated area. It was just empty for a long, long time, right? And then one day, a hotel pops up in this area, in this dirt field. A nice hotel, nice name, a Country Inn, something, something not big ass Hilton, but a nice one. And I was driving by. I was like, why would you put a hotel like that here? It didn't make any sense, none. And then once the hotel was there, then also they started putting up a little strip mall with sandwich shop and eating places right here next to the hotel. I was like, why would they put that here? There's not a whole bunch of people that work around this area, and then voila, the fucking Amazon factory goes there. These are things that, same thing happened in Seattle when in the black neighborhood. One day a Starbucks popped up just out of nowhere, boom, in the middle of the hood. I was like, what the hell is a Starbucks doing here? Now you go there, now you see why. Big tall ass buildings, high rise, four high on every single corner, right on a four corner stop. Every other corner had high-rise buildings except where Starbucks was at. Guess what? Starbucks was on the corner amongst all those. How'd they know that? They know. They know. Set up shop there. You better believe that. They're making, these companies have to copy them. So they need workers. They need people to deliver this shit. Delivery jobs are the future. Now, either you're going to be a delivery person or you're going to come up with some system that helps Amazon deliver even faster. Because have you noticed the commercials for the USPS? Now they got to work 7 days a week. Why do you think that is? Because of Amazon. Remember, the post office didn't deliver on Sundays? They work 7 days a week now. Why? Amazon. You think the USPS chose to work 7 days a week? No, they had to. All these businesses got to compete with Amazon. They got to keep up. So what are they going to need? They're going to need factories like Amazon if they want to keep up. And I can only imagine how they work those people in those factories. Woo! I know we talked about this the other day. I can only imagine. They want to ship everything to your house these days. It's cheaper to use robots than pay these. Well, sure is. Now we're not. I don't look at now. I understand. I don't look at us as glitches in the system. We're part of the system. We're just on the correct side of it. Because you got to remember, the people that are already over here, just because they're wealthy or they've been over here for generations, they're still people. They're not aliens. They're not any different than you and I. We're just on the right side. They just been here longer. That's all. That's how I look at this. I don't look at, well, I never have, right? But I don't really look at wealthy people like that. I just look at, they're still people, right? They just been here longer than me. That's it. They're nothing else. Nothing. They're not smarter than me. They're not. They don't know something more than me. I mean, they probably know something according to the system, but the basic step one, you have to own yourself. That's it. You can't come over here if you don't own yourself. If you don't know that, you can't be over here. It doesn't matter what you got, what you're wearing, where you work, what's your salary. It doesn't matter if you don't own yourself. It don't matter. It's like, let me give you an example of what what you can see when you're not in the debt matrix. Okay, if you make $80,000 a year and you finance a $40,000 car, and you got a $40,000 car, I know you're making payments. You understand? If you drove up in a brand new $40,000 car making $80,000 a year, I know you're making payments because you can't buy a $40,000 car on an $80,000 a year salary. You can't do that. In cash, you can't. 40,000 plus tax. And whatever else bullshit they throw in there when you go finance cars, all that. They be killing you guys in them financing them cars. You don't know that. But anyway, I know you're making payments. And if you're making car payments, you have no money. That's obvious. When you drive up to your job with a brand new car, when you just got a raise, you know what you're telling your boss? I'm going to be working here for a very long time. I ain't going anywhere anytime soon. Why? I got to pay for this car. So while the other slaves are running down to your car and checking it out, oh my God, look at Bob's car. Oh, he must have got a raise. We know who makes the big bucks. You guys be saying all that stupid slave shit, right? The boss is up in the window looking down on you saying, damn, this motherfucker gonna be here at least another 5 years. He ain't going anywhere. And he's gonna take any abuse that I give him, anything. He's gonna be begging me for overtime. Hey, fighting. You know, slaves fight over who can work more hours, and I'm more in seniority. I should be getting the overtime work. Whatever, slaves, you guys beg for whatever you want. You guys have had no idea what you're telling your boss. None. You're begging to be there. You don't know that you're telling your boss that. You have no idea that you're doing that. Brand new car. Listen, you got a brand new car and you're begging for overtime. And like some of you slaves, when you go finance cars, you guys include your overtime in your credit application to finance a car. You're basing the money working overtime, and then you can't figure out why your relationships are not working. It makes absolutely no sense. How you gonna have a relationship working 60, 70 hours a week? Come on, man, stop. You finance a house that you're not even spending time in because you're spending all that work. That begging for more hours, only making $17 an hour. I know, right? What you say here? Most wealth is lost by the third or fourth. See, that's another. See, that's another thing. Okay. And again, I want you people in your 20s, if you're listening to this is important. Okay. If you know it, if you take this knowledge and you know it, and you don't share it with some kind of family member or your kids, the best is your kids. If your kids are young, okay, you still have control of their minds, right? You could say, this is what it is when it comes to money. This is what we're doing. This is how it's done. That way it can carry on the generation. But if you don't share this information with a family member, guess who it dies with? It dies with you. Imagine paying off your house right now. Say like you're 20, and then you pay your house off by 30. Now you living the rest of your life with no rent or mortgage. While all the slaves believe rent or mortgage is part of life, you won't. Your money's going to stack so fast in the bank. Your house is paid off for all those years, but you don't share the financial information with anybody. And then you die. Guess what? And then you leave the house with somebody that has no clue about money. Guess what they're going to do? They're going to refinance it, pull out the equity, spend it on bullshit, and everything is gone. And then they're going to lose it in foreclosure. How do I know that that's what my mom did? Now I'm 16 at the time. I didn't know any better. My grandmother left my mom a paid off house, but my mom didn't know about money. They came knocking on it. Hey, you know, you can, it was in the prime area of Seattle, everything, walking distance of downtown Seattle, could overlook the lake. I mean, it was not a huge view, but it was good enough. I could still see Lake Washington. They just took advantage of my mom. Hey, you want to refinance? Yeah, mom took the money, bought all this bullshit, lost the house. If you don't teach it generationally, guess what? It's going to be lost with you. You don't want that. You want this shit to carry on. You don't want it dying with you. You don't want that, man. Now I'm 51. This is creating SMD is what's going to live forever for me. Every video I make, every t-shirt I create will live forever. It won't matter what year it is. I promise you, because the system is the system. This is the way it must be. And it's not just it's not just the US economy. I want you guys to understand it's all the same. You can go over to Canada. Say, for example, say like I said, oh, I'm gonna leave here and go to Canada. Well, Canada got the same kind of system, tax, debt, whatever. It's the same system. But when you go over there, you say Canada says, hey, this is our money. This is the way. This is what we use here. This green one's 100 and this blue one's a this or whatever the color. Okay, whatever. You go over there. I'll find a debt-free tax person. Hey, you know the system. You know the rules, right? Cool. Handle that shit. It's no different. If they got a debt system, it's the same. Everything's the same. This is the money they use there. You come to the US, this is the money you use here, period. That's it. Thanks so much for your efforts, man. You don't know how much of service you're doing for humanity. I do, Dorian, because I feel it. I do. I do because people email me, people DM me, people tell me how much I've changed their life. That's the fuel that keeps me going. You guys got to understand that's why I keep going, because it's not the way TV makes it seem like the road to success is this way, and it's you know, you got a sob story and happens this. No, it's not fast. It's not you're not making millions of dollars, you know. Just because I'm debt free don't think I have to make money. Okay, I'm not rich, but I know it's coming. It's a journey. You have to believe in yourself, and you have to believe in the passion that is gift. This is my gift. How do I know it's my gift? Because people tell me it's my gift. Hey, LJ, thank you for existing. Thank you for changing my life. Thank you. Hey, man. And I make sure I come back and say, I appreciate everybody. You could have bought a house every couple years. Oh, yeah, that's true. That is true. That is very true. That is true. Very true. Parent raised kids don't have the school system raised. You know what? This is how I look at the public school system. Okay. I see its purpose. Now that I'm not in the debt matrix, I clearly see its purpose. Okay, these are the rules. They're just teaching the kids the rules of the way it works. Okay, this is what it is. This is how it's going to work. When you come here, this is what you do. Blah blah blah, and they teach you what they want to teach you, and they still leave it up to you, because I remember they taught me math and money games in grade school. They taught me how to count money in grade school. They did. Now, if I leave grade school and not remember that lesson, that's my problem. because they did. I remember the math. They taught me about quarters, dimes, nickels, dollar bills, $2 bills back then, $5 bills. They taught me, hey, if you take away, you got 10, you take away 5, you have $5, and that's what they said. Once I got out of grade school, because that's when the math and money game stopped. Once I got out of grade school, uh, everybody on the outside world said, "Oh no, you don't need money. You need credit," and I believed it. Yes, it does, Gabriel. I get it. And I want you guys to clearly understand something. Without slaves, this economy could not exist. So I understand that. I understand the public school system clearly. They're not hiding anything. Are they programming kids? Well, yeah. Well, yeah. If they're going there studying and open up books and reading and studying whatever's in those, yeah, that's a program. Yes, that's true. They basically say, here's the basics. You can do what you want with them, but here they are. So you can function in society. This you must read English, count, uh, whatever. You can have $50,000 in the debt free. In the debt free, you'll be doing better than most people. How many people can even say they have $5,000 in bank in debt? Not many. People don't really understand when you're debt free, you can make $30,000 and be living comfortably. Do you understand? You could be making $30,000 a year with no. Now, listen, this is what I'm saying. Okay. If you had no mortgage, no rent, I mean, if you have no mortgage, you own your house, and I don't really feel like explaining this part, but it's possible, right? And you have no debt and you own your house, you could live comfortably off of $30,000 a year. You'll be in a lower tax bracket, no rent, more just pay taxes every year, no car payment, nothing. That's it. You could live comfortably. While the news is saying, "Hey, if you make $30,000, you're living in poverty." According to who? According to a person in debt? No, that's not true. That is absolutely not true. You know how they always tell the number? Oh, here's the poverty line. They're only talking about people in debt. Okay, then you guys don't know that. Unconscious slaves, you guys don't know that they're talking about people in debt. Because if you're not in debt and you make $35,000, you're good. Sure does. All you need, hey, listen, now, and I know this don't, it sounds too simple to be true. This is all you got to do. Pick up the original Monopoly game, right? Read the rules on the box yourself with your own eyes. I'm gonna say that one more time. Pick up the regular Monopoly game, and this is the parents that if you want to start teaching your children now, pick up the original Monopoly game, and I want you to read the rules on the box. Only play by the rules on the box, and only play debt free. Keep doing that over and over and over and over, and I promise you, your kids will get it. You only play by the rules on the box because when I grew up, I never read the rules on the Monopoly box. I just said, "Hey guys, how you guys play?" Well, you don't know that the people teaching you, they're in debt. They're slaves. This is no different than the real world, okay? And if you guys don't believe me, ask your friends who play. Hey, girl, have you played Monopoly before? They say, "Yeah." Have you ever read the rules on the box? When they say no, you were playing with a slave. Because slaves are the ones that say, "Oh man, if you get taxed by the ring, you this money goes under the free parking, or the money goes in the middle of the board. If you pass go, all these rules that don't even exist. There's no rule in Monopoly where all the tax money get collected in the middle of the board, and whoever steps on whatever gets that money. That's nowhere on the rules. Is that somewhere in real life? Where all the tax money gets collected and somebody's going to win it? When you play Monopoly, the debt free perspective. Yes, the debt free perspective. Exactly, Andre. Exactly, man. I try to tell people this because I'm using myself as an example because I didn't realize this until I got out of debt. I had never read the rules on the Monopoly box. I always went by what friends told me. Oh yeah, this is how you play it. This is no, you don't. That's how slaves play. Play with the kids over and over and over again. They're going to take those habits and then they're going to go out into the real world because it's the exact same thing. It's exactly the same. When you play Monopoly for them. Yep. Thanks, LJ. I remember that. No problem, man. Gabriel said, I'm the king of Monopoly. Oh, you still been playing, man? They still don't get it, Gabriel? Can they figure out why you keep winning? Can they figure it out? Or they just think you're getting lucky? They keep thinking you're getting lucky? Oh, he keep getting lucky. What, every time? Oh, okay. All right. I know you guys don't believe me, but the game of Monopoly will teach you how to, if you want to, you want to teach your kids now, get the game, only play by the rules, only. Nobody steals money from the bank. Nobody, because slaves like to do that. Some people be in charge of the money. They'll slip out 500, 200. That's stealing. That's called embezzlement. Okay. People don't think it's, oh, that's funny. No, that's called embezzlement. Don't do that. So if you want to play with slaves, you have to make sure you're the bank, because when they start messing up on buying stuff and buying Park Avenue right out the gate and all this other stuff, then they're going to run out of money really fast. And if they're the bank, guess what? They're going to slip out of 500 or 200 here because you're not paying attention to it. These things I share with you, a lot of people say, hey, man, I'll be listening to your channel, man, and you'll be giving up so many gems and you're not even asking for nothing. Because I know that's coming. I know it's coming. It's coming. These shirts are what's going to kick it off. You guys don't even understand. These shirts it's going to blow SMD through the fucking roof. Because millions of people are going to see these shirts and they're not going to understand the statements. They'll be like, what the fuck does that mean? Only one place to find the answer: SMD, YouTube, SavingsMinusDebt channel. Yep, there's your answer. Exactly, Andre. Sure does. The bank never goes broke. They tell you, hey, listen, you guys, they're telling you right there in the game of Monopoly. They're telling you the rules right there. They're telling, that game right there is telling you the rules. The rules are on the box. It's no different. Listen, it's no different than the rules of our economy. You have to pay taxes. That's a rule. It's a law, but I'm just trying to compare it to the Monopoly game. You have to pay taxes. Yes. Period. That's the rule. Same thing on the box. There's rules. You can do this. You can't do that. If you're trying to auction off property, this is what you must do. I mean, when I read the rules of the game, I was like, I didn't know you could auction it off, and then you could get the actual property at a cheaper than the price that, man, I was like, what? And if the one person doesn't want it, you have to auction it off everybody else. Man, I was like, oh man, you mean to tell me I could have got all these properties less than face value on the board? Sure can. You sure can. The price on the board, you don't have to pay the price on the board. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Didn't know that was part of the rules. I was like, God damn. I know, right, Andre? Man, when I read that, when they said you could strip off piece of, if you run out of the money, say like on the rules, it says if you run out of the actual money that they give you, you can strip off pieces of paper and write on the denomination on it, and you can use that as a substitute. That's in real life. I mean, you can't copy them. They're not saying you can copy the money. Okay, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that if they want more money, they just print it, basically. Okay. Even when I was a kid, like I remember saying this to myself. Okay, even when I was a young child, and I would hear, "We're in debt. We don't have money to pay for this and that." I used to think to myself, why don't they just print more money? And then when you ask the average person this, they all come up with these stories. Oh, it will cause inflation and devalue the dollar. Everybody's a fucking money expert. Oh man, the value of the dollar will go up, and then the euro will collapse, and then it will come over and combine that country's money will be all these reasons. What they think. No, it doesn't. None of that is true. Now, no, I know it looks like that. I know it looks like it does stuff like that, but when somebody's talking to you about that, okay, when somebody's saying they're talking to you about the US dollar, what it could do, this is what I want you to say to them. You got student loans? I know it seems an odd question, but trust me. If they say yes, they have no idea what they're talking about because money doesn't even exist for them. So whatever they're saying, it doesn't matter because they're in student loan debt. Money doesn't exist for people in student loan debt. Is a slave to the lender. It's said in the Bible, but even people going to church are, but sure are. Sure is. Now, I want you guys to understand something too, okay? Now, I understand once you get out of the debt matrix, there are limits, okay? Because you got to remember, there's more unconscious slaves than not. This is why I'm not gonna put slaves on shirts. Right. I'll say it on the channel. I have no problem calling people slaves here, but on a shirt, I'm not gonna put it on the shirt because you gotta remember, unconscious slaves don't understand. They don't know they're slaves, and there's more of them than not. You will get in fights. You will get because they first thing they're gonna think is because they don't know they're slaves, they're gonna think of TV slaves. Even though everything is said in the Bible, it doesn't matter. I wouldn't even put you guys in that situation because they're unconscious. There's limits. You got to understand that there are limits. Shoots and ladders. I never played that game too much. I gotta relook at that. Andre said I used to write no personal guarantee on the back. No personal guarantee. Oh, no personal guarantee on the back. It's exactly how it works. The younger you get this information, oh, okay. Let me put that up there. Sorry about that. Every time I don't put it up there, every time I do put it up there, I don't even know where my phone is at anyway. I hope I didn't leave it downstairs somewhere. Oh crap! Somewhere. All right. I don't have it. At least I don't think I do. Anyway. Yeah. So a lot of these games out here, man, they really. But Monopoly is the one. Okay. I strongly suggest you teach your kids Monopoly, playing only by the rules on the box, and 100% debt free. Okay. Don't finance nothing. Don't mortgage nothing to pay something back and blah, blah, blah. Don't do any of those. You teach your kids to pay whatever they're going to buy in cash. That will force them to understand the rest of the rules. Like wait till a property gets auctioned if nobody wants to buy it, and then they can get it cheaper. And then that saved them much things of that nature. I didn't know those rules existed. I was like, what? It was like a whole new game. But you understand that if you play by the rules on the box, everybody that plays they're not going to really understand those rules. But long as you play by them, and then if any of those people question it, you show them the rule so they can understand that it's legal. Thanks, Gabriel. Anyway, well, we're going to wrap this up here, man. I thank you, everybody. Again, the title of this video is appreciation, and I do appreciate you guys. I appreciate the followers. I'm appreciate your support when these shirts come out, but they're going to be amazing. Man, I'm just, if you haven't, if I put a picture of one of the shirts or a couple of the shirts up there and on my Instagram SavingsMinusDebt, go check out the shirt. We're designing it, so I don't have it yet for sale yet, but I'm just showing you the design, what it's going to look like, different styles. But I'm still figuring out how I'm be doing it, because I got a million statements, man. Me and Andre was going through a couple already, and we started losing the count and start coming up with some wild stuff, man. Had to shut it down. We start taking out words and putting symbols in there. I was like, okay, that's enough, man. We got to chill. All right, let me just get this first shirt out. Yeah, that's true. You really gotta play with people in debt. Well, luckily you'll have plenty of people to play with that are in debt. Just when you get the game, when you say you want to play with them, you say, I'm going to be the bank. Okay. And we're going to play by the rules. They're going to say, hey, what about the money that goes under the middle of the board or under free parking? You're like, that's nowhere on the rules. Okay. You don't want none of that on none of this on the poker table. Anyway, thank you everybody for joining today. I appreciate it this evening. Thank you very much. And look forward to hearing from you. What is today? Today is Thursday. I probably will, maybe again, I'm not sure, but Sunday for sure. Q&A Sundays as always. And if you guys are new to the channel, you guys have questions, I strongly suggest that you write down your questions and join the show. And if those you out there that are debt free, or the videos, SMD videos, have changed your life and somehow, man, I encourage you guys to jump up on the channel and just share your story with other people. Sort of like what Dave Ramsey does, but this is different. It'll be the debt free life change. It's very different than that. Okay. Oh, what's up, Willie? What's going on? I'm a ghost watcher, but always here, 100% debt free, and continue to enjoy this channel. Thank you. Yeah, the kids as the banker will help too. Yeah, when you got young kids, you guys will be able to. Their minds are not tainted by the debt matrix yet. So they don't know about they don't know about credit and debt and all that other stuff. And if you get them young, teach them young, they will never know about that world unless it's in the money making part. Okay, once you understand this knowledge, you'll understand how to work in the debt matrix to make money. Okay, because slaves will just buy anything, right? Appreciate you, Andre, man, as always. Nicer, Gabriel, Willie, catch the replay. Thank you, Dorian, El Marshall. All right. See you later, Nick. All right, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Later.